Oh my God, look who it is, Sam.
Who is it?
It's everyone who's listening to the Chill Spot podcast.
What are you doing in my house?
Get out!
Get out of my house!
Get out!
Get out of my house!
Welcome to the Chill Spot podcast, everybody.
No, come in.
No, please. We haven't seen anyone for months. I'm sorry. That's why we reacted that way.
Yeah,
actually.
It's been a while. I don't know how to react to people coming over anymore.
It's like cave people seeing other people for the first time. You know, and they're like,
yeah.
And they get like their bone clubs and start beating the shit out of each other, you know?
And that was the beginning of systemic racism in America.
And like the screen goes like, you know, in like true crime documentaries where it's like, and the screen, it goes like negative.
Yeah.
And like everyone's like blue skin. It's like,
there's like this sting.
Yeah. And,
yeah.
Like, and that was the start of systemic racism in America. You know? True crime Neanderthal documentary. That's what I need.
Murder among the Neanderthals.
Murder among the ooks.
Murder among the crudes.
That third sequel was weird.
That was fucked up.
I went to some crazy places.
Yeah, they really took it somewhere.
So experimental.
Oh my God.
Disney releases Luca.
Yeah.
DreamWorks releases The Croods 3. Murder among the Croods.
DreamWorks is really, I don't like this direction they're going in.
No.
I don't think I like it.
Very strange. Very strange. But how was your day, Sam? How's your week?
My day was so good. I got really good news about my play.
Tell us!
No, it's a surprise.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just my play is going really well and I'm happy and I'm excited and it's getting really real like every day and I'm just like, instead of being nervous, I'm just like, yes.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, you know what it is?
Please give me some success.
I feel like we've both, like you especially, but I feel like we've both reached the point in our artistic endeavors where it's like, why be coy about the work you're doing, right? Because when you're like 21 in school and you're writing a play, you think like, oh, well, this isn't a Samuel Beckett. This isn't a fucking, you know, this isn't a Butcher, you know, like this is just a stupid play that I'm writing. But it's like, no, but you're graduated now. Like, you're a playwright.
It's also just like, it's about goddamn time.
Yeah.
Like,
goddamn time.
Like, I'm not going to be coy about the fact that I worked hard on something and like, you know, I set out to do something and I wanted to do it well and I wanted to do it right and it's going well and it's going right and I am not going to be coy about that because I worked damn hard to make it that way.
Yes, you did.
I worked really, really hard.
You've been working on this for the better part of like almost 2 years, gotta be.
Yeah, you know, like it's just... Like, why be, it's like that Muhammad Ali quote, it's not bragging if you can back it up. Well, you know, I've got backup, so I'm bragging.
Exactly. So when you go see Sam's show, she will beat the shit out of you.
I'm going to rub it in so many people's faces.
You're going to rope-a-dope the fuck out of these white people. Like, hey, Ms. Mercury, I love the show. And you're just like... just fucking like...
You're weak! You are weak! So I fucked you up.
Hottest new playwright, Sam Mercury. You go on Jimmy Fallon and beat the shit out of him, like live on his show.
I would never. Did I ever tell you that I had the biggest crush on Jimmy Fallon in high school?
Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah,
because you love awkward white boys.
I do.
That's why you're dating one.
Hey.
I think I'm the least awkward of your white boy.
Yeah, you're definitely the most socially apt partner that I've ever had.
I don't know how to feel about that.
You should feel good. I mean, the bar was on the ground, but
I'm the most.
You still superseded everything.
I'm the white boy you can bring places.
Yeah,
you know, like
which is so weird because that's always been a what is it called? Like not a requirement.
A caveat?
No, it's always been a term of mine that I've like. It's like if I'm gonna date somebody, I want to be able to take him everywhere. You know, I don't want to be like, oh, well, like, I can't take Cameron to, like, the Tim's hangout because it's going to be weird. He's going to be weird. He's not comfortable. It's like, no.
He's got the huge problem with Asian people and we don't talk about it.
No,
and
it's just like, it's not even like racism. It's just like.
It's not even racism.
It's just, you know those people who are like, yeah, so, like, my boyfriend's not really into roller skating, so, like, I just don't talk about it around him, but it's still something I do and that I love. No. He likes that. He does everything that I do. Not everything, but, like, You participate in everything. You take an active interest and care and participate in everything that I participate in. If, you know, like if/when these things are possible again, you know, if it just so happens that you want to or have to accompany me to like a roller skating event, I can take you there. You'll be cool. You'll be nice. You'll be approachable.
I'll be like
friendly.
I'll be like your fucking white dad, like taking pictures.
You're not gonna stand off in the corner looking all creepy and awkward and uncomfortable, and then someone's like, "Who's that?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Sam's boyfriend. Just don't bother him. He's just, you know, she had to drag him here. He doesn't want to participate, so he's harmless, but just leave him alone." You know, I hate that shit.
Yeah,
I hate that shit.
It's like school shooter shit. Like fuck that.
Yeah, it's just really unnerving.
Yeah.
So like and you're also like really great about like people want to talk to you when they're around. It's like
it's me
fine.
who doesn't want to talk to people. Hey. It's no one else's problem.
But you're very good at faking it if you have to.
No, I'm just joking. I love talking to people. I do. I like to joke that I don't, but I do.
Yeah.
If this pandemic has proven anything, is that I do love talking to people.
You do in fact enjoy the company of others.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And I think I always have. It's just that like, you know, social battery is running low.
Yeah.
And now it's the most charged it's ever been.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to go.
It's like corroding at this point. It's like exploding outwards.
You know when it foams up? And it foams up and you have to throw them out. And like if you touch it, it burns.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
It's just, that was a sad memory for me because that happened to my Game Boy.
Oh, that sucks.
I lost track of my Game Boy Color for a really long time. And then when I found it, there were still batteries in it and they had corroded and now it's no good.
I mean, you could probably just take them out.
See-through purple.
You could just take them out and clean it up.
Can I?
Sure.
And it'll still work?
Yeah.
You told me that I had to throw it out.
I don't remember telling you that.
Yes, you did.
I mean, I must have because you say that, but like...
Yeah, I would not make that up.
No,
I wouldn't
of course
put you
not.
in that light on purpose.
Well, no, yeah.
Yeah.
And I certainly, like, I think you could just clean it up because I feel like I've had corroded batteries.
Fingers crossed.
I mean, like, you have to really be careful because you might hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'll risk it. I'll risk it for my see-through purple Game Boy Color.
But I don't remember what Sam said because it was that long ago because we've been dating for that long, which brings us to today's topic.
Yeah, we also were talking about, like, what we liked about each other and stuff. So, yeah, today's topic... We will never master these segues. We will never.
Thought that was great, and then you brought up that it was bad.
They're never smooth, but
who gives a shit?
Do. Long-term relationship.
Yeah, how is this for a segue? All right, Sam. Barn door transition. And we're talking about our relationship today. Yes, Sam and I have been dating forever. We've been dating a super long time, almost 6 years in this next January.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd preach down to you all and just give you some advice and dating tips, but also to expunge upon what we've learned. Because this is the longest relationship that I've ever had.
Me too.
I was in a long relationship for my last relationship, but it was a high school relationship. So, you know, you do a lot of growing and things change. And this is my first adult committed relationship.
And I have been tragically bad at relationships my entire life.
Well, you figured it out, babe. High five. There it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also figured out high fives.
Yeah, and that was great. Yeah. That was a good one. I mean, I'm sure. Look, you can see it on the readout.
I can see the waveform.
You can see it on the readout.
Yeah,
That's
I can
huge.
See it. That's great.
Huge.
Yeah.
So Sam, talking about what's great about being in a long-term relationship. So what is in your opinion, the benefits of our relationship? The positives, I should say. There's no there is benefits in the way, but it's not like a job.
Yeah.
It's like our relationship gave us dental.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are things that I benefit from.
I'm 30% covered every time I go to the orthodontist.
Yeah. You're 30% covered every time you have a panic attack.
Yeah.
You have someone to call.
Wow, it covers chiropractics too? Damn.
Amazing.
Such a good package.
Blew his back out. Anyway, you were saying.
The best part about being in a relationship that is this long is that, like, you are truly and honestly, like, my best friend and, like, partner.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, I learned this on One Girl, Five Gays of all things, but, like, someone was like, I think someone asked, like, the same questions, like, what's the best part about, like, being in a relationship? And someone was like, is having a partner, and not in like this is my partner. Yeah. Like, no, like,
I talked to him at dinner, you know,
like that's your buddy, that's your your sidekick that you go through life with.
Yeah.
And whenever I need to, you know, vent about something or figure something out in my life, you're right there. It's like, did you ever like have a really, really, really good friend and you would like fantasize about like You like you didn't call it living together at the time, but you'd be like, oh, I wish we had sleepovers every night. Like,
when you're young, yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're like, I could do a sleepover with you every day. It's like, it's that fantasy of like having a sleepover every day. Excuse me. Like with your best friend. And you laugh and you joke and you work through like tough things. And like, you're just always there. I have never, like, for some reason, like, and this is going to sound crazy, but like even more than my parents, I have never had someone so constant and so reliable and so like comforting to be around like ever in my life.
Wow.
Like I am more comfortable with you than I am around my parents.
I mean, I probably feel this. I mean, like, this isn't a shot to our parents, but like...
No, that's how good it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree, as a matter of fact, because I think the biggest transition point for us and me and my personal view of our relationship is that sort of what you just said. Like, when I realized one night when I looked over at you, and I'm like, this is a person that I will never get tired of spending time with.
Yeah.
And I haven't, ever since I had that epiphany, and that was like 3 years ago, you know? So, like... that is a huge benefit, and I think a goal to reach when you're in a long-term relationship. Because it's kind of stupid to say out loud, where it's like you should like the person you're with.
It seems like, yeah, that's the minimum.
But it's a far less obvious thing than you think.
Yeah.
Because, not to get, like, grim, but, like, you know, there's a lot of people, I feel like, our parents' age, who are just sort of together because they felt as though they need to be.
Yeah.
Or it's like they don't even really like each other.
Yeah.
Nothing in common.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, they're married because, like, well, when you're 30... You got married.
And it's like, what are you going to do? Break up and date again?
Yeah,
Fuck that.
At 60? Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Fuck that.
No, of course. But that is totally the opposite of how I feel with you when I spend time with you. I've always said that I feel as though my social battery recharges with you, which is something that doesn't happen with anybody. And that's special to me.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a huge benefit of being in a relationship.
Absolutely. I do want to say, it's weird because, like, my social battery recharges with you, but I also need time away from you.
Well, sure.
Like, yeah, like,
just spit on what I just said. Cool,
if I had to, I'm just going to disagree. I do need time alone, but you respect that. You know?
I also like time alone.
You know, at this point in our relationship, we're not so attached at the hip, but I do feel you with me all of the time.
Yeah.
If I ever need you or if I ever want to be around you, like, it's fine. It's cool. Like, everything's gravy. I can just sort of like, I can just be. Yeah. I can exist.
You and I'm a firm believer that I have a strong long-term relationship. There's the whole two halves make a whole argument, which is garbage in my opinion. That's bad. Don't believe that.
Yeah.
You need two full wholes which come together to be something greater than the sum of their parts.
Yeah, I just think about that argument that's like,
I don't think you should complete yourself with your partner. I think that's unhealthy.
Yeah, but I think that you can complete yourself with a partner present.
Sure.
Like you can be not whole and like find the person for you and be with them while you do that.
The reason why I have apprehension to that saying is because I feel like a lot of people think then, oh, well, if I find a partner, I'll be better.
It's definitely not a goal to like achieve.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a part of your healing. It's like, first I got to go to therapy and then I got to fall in love. It's like, no, but like, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people have heard the argument, like, you've got to, I mean, RuPaul says it, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else?
Amen.
And I just feel, and then people say, like, yeah, like, you should 100% love yourself before you try and fall in love with anybody else. But, like, you won't ever find love if you don't do that first. And I just don't think that's true.
Yeah, okay. That's a little harsh. It's not what I was going for. But.
Yeah. I don't think you were meaning to be that harsh. I just wanted to like clarify that. Yeah, you can fall in love while in the midst of growing and like grow with that person. Yeah, you just got to do it healthy.
You could be okay. So let me rephrase then.
Yeah.
You can have a partner that's a part of your healing process, especially a part of your. You're going to grow.
Yeah.
Because when you grow by yourself, if you're in a relationship, you're going to grow with that person, right? But I just think that there's something to be said about people who genuinely believe that like having a girlfriend will solve their problems.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
I think that's a negative, or a boyfriend as a matter of fact. Like a girlfriend, boyfriend, partner doesn't matter.
It's too much to put on a person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Because like I think about like if you have a lot of fucking skeletons in your closet that you've just been piling up
Yeah.
and like doing nothing about.
Yeah.
under the pretense that when you find a partner that, oh, but they'll get me on track.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe they need to be on track too.
I mean, that's why so many of your parents' friends are in marriages where they hate the other person.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they expected their partner to cure all of their problems. They expected a marriage to like fix everything for them. And it didn't.
But you know what will fix it? A baby. Play the Curb music. All right, continue.
Yikes. But yeah, no, that's just way too much pressure to put on somebody. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
You need to at least accept the fact. Like if you're going to have problems, accept the fact that you have problems. And it's good to lean on a person that loves you while you go through that, but they can't be your whole support system. You have to, some things in this life you just have to do by yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's the fucking way it is, man.
I'm like, hate to break it to you, but your best friend or your loved one cannot. Some things you just have to go at it alone. That's a discussion for another day.
It's good to have a support system, but there's such a thing as leaning too heavily on it.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But a part of being in a relationship, and bring it back to what we're talking about, is like just the general security of it all.
Yeah.
I always feel like I have someone to talk to. I during the day, middle of the night, evening, whatever. I have someone that I can always share exciting news with.
Yes.
And like get excited with.
Yes.
And I'll always feel love. My love language is very physical in terms of how I process hard emotions. And you're also a hugger and a cuddler. So like, it's always nice to have that. It's just, there's lots of great things about being in a relationship. And I think that's just a few of them.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing that I really love about relationships is the fucking inside jokes.
Sure.
Are so good. Like this is not as deep as all of the other answers, but
that's a part of it though.
We developed a language that only you and I can understand.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love exclusive things. I really do. I'm a bitch like that. But just like having like a language or like a joking system that really only you or I find funny or appreciate is just so meaningful to me. I love that if we're at a party and someone's like dressed really weird, we can like make up a bit about it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be like for the channel or like something that turns into a whole idea. It's just like a dumb, stupid joke that we laugh at together. Yeah.
Well, you and I have very similar sense of humors.
Yeah.
And I feel like our sense of humors have sort of melded more as our relationship has continued.
Yeah.
Right? I think like what you found funny and what I found funny was different at one point, but now it's sort of amalgamated into this thing where it's like we can make each other laugh, and that's so important in a relationship to be able to make. And you don't need to be a funny person to make your partner laugh.
No,
but you should make each other laugh at the very least.
Whatever your version of humor is, like you should find it and like have that with somebody. Maybe you're not, like all out laughing and crying like Cam and I make ourselves do, but just have a hearty chortle with someone you love.
And you and I love to riff, right? That's a big thing with you and I. I actually would argue that's a part of our love language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the other person doesn't respond to the riffing, we know that something's wrong.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't. What's going on? And it's usually something.
That's an interesting thing, actually. And we can get into that later.
Part of that language. Part of that language is knowing when someone doesn't return the riff, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely a few things in terms of like cues that one can pick up on in order to react properly. Like if something's wrong or someone's upset, like what's going on? Like, babe, you're not acting like the idealized version of yourself in my head. What's wrong?
We gotta fix it.
What have you learned about being in a relationship, Sam?
As Jinx Monsoon puts it in season 5, thinking outside of your own wig, like thinking beyond your own wig.
I'd agree.
Considering the other person in most, if not everything that you do.
Yeah.
Even
in small amounts. Because when I say that I incorporate thoughts of Sam and everything that I do, I don't want to make it sound like I'm thinking like, if I'm making this business decision, like I gotta get the okay from my girlfriend, It's like, no, it's like every time I do something, there's varying levels of how much I consider you, but you are always considered. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Especially since, we're also business partners in Chill Spot.
Of course.
I do make business decisions with you in mind because we have a schedule that we're trying to adhere to and goals that we're trying to achieve. And if I sign on to something and it's going to take X amount of time, well, what does that mean for the Chill Spot goals?
Yeah.
I have to consider you in that.
It's malleable. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that way.
Yeah, but it's also like it's little things too. It's like, if I want to do something on Tuesday night with you, well, that's Dungeons and Dragons night, like can't do it. Can't, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. That's what you mean, sort of like consideration. That's an interesting thing. I personally I've always been a people pleaser. So like being hyper considerate, I've actually learned how to make it more manageable in our relationship. And not be so like on all the time, and like give myself time for me and everything. Cause when you're a people pleaser and you're trying to please everybody, the only person who's not being pleased is you, right? Being me.
Yeah.
So I've learned a lot in that respect. I'm trying to think like something that I've learned from dating you. Oh, what I've learned by dating you is, and don't take this the wrong way, is, that it's okay to be pissed off about the things you're pissed off about.
Like be angry. Yep, you learned that from me, all right.
Oh, did I? Because my whole life, my parents are very passive in a lot of ways. My mom not so much, but my dad very much. And I internalized a lot of that growing up to the point where it was like conflict would give me such a insane bout of anxiety that it was just easier to sort of pretend nothing was wrong.
Yeah.
And then everyone sort of acclimated to that. And before you know it, you have an emotional intelligence of 0, and you're unable to have hard conversations. But ever since entering university and sort of learning more about how I process emotions and meeting you especially, and even during our friendship, but then moving into our relationship, like I've learned that like it's okay if you're upset about something to vocalize that you're upset about it.
Yeah.
And it'll actually be better for everybody involved if you're honest about your feelings.
Well, because I've tried, because I also, so like I come from a place where like, people were angry and expressed their anger in my family, but they didn't do anything productive with it. They just like stayed angry, and it just sort of like festered and fermented inside of them. And, like they have all these chips on their shoulders that they're just doing nothing about. So I've, in working on myself, tried to like be productive with my anger. Like Maya Angelou said, like you dance it, you write it, you sing it, you vote it, like do something with it.
Don't do nothing with it.
Yeah. Like turn it into a productive thing. Be like, what pisses you off? This pisses you off? Okay, how can we get this to go away? Or, compromise and deal with it. And I like to try and like, I try and like teach that to everybody I know, because I just think that, how do I want to say this? I try and teach that to everybody that I know, because when people see me getting angry, people have gotten scared before. And it's just like, no, I want you to know, like, I'm not gonna lash out, and you shouldn't either if you're mad about something. I want to show you how you can turn this into something productive.
I think you've come a very long way with that regard.
And I'm glad that you picked up on it for yourself as well and have found it useful.
Yeah, because for me, like, I'm very much a person where it's like, so I'll go off what you just said in terms of like feeling emotions, right? I agree in that if you're angry with someone, regardless of how angry they made you, no one deserves to be screamed at. That is basic human respect.
I picked that up from you majorly too.
Like
it also just doesn't work.
No, it really doesn't.
It never works as well. You always think in the movies that you're gonna blow up and you're gonna like shout until you're blue in the face, and people are gonna take that in and really internalize it, and then they're gonna go and respond to it calmly. And that's not gonna happen.
No, because that to me is putting all of the onus of this conversation on the other person.
Yeah.
And you're doing, not you, royal you, imaginary you, is doing none of the work that needs to go in to processing emotions, right? You're just indulging in the emotions, right?
Totally.
Which is why I've always thought that screaming doesn't work. And I'm touched that you picked that up for me, actually. Because what I do when I'm really pissed off is just go fucking sit for a bit and think about it.
Yeah.
And like, really, honest to God, let myself get angry.
Yeah.
Let myself be like, fuck, damn it. Like, I'm not like muttering to myself like an insane person.
You could if you wanted to.
But I do, I tend to pace when I'm pissed off. I'll like pace around a room, and then eventually I'll like put my hands on my hips and take a deep breath and go, all right, I know what I'm mad about.
Yeah.
And I can talk about it.
Yeah.
And then I'll go to that person and be like, hey, so this thing you did, it made me feel really upset. And then we need to talk about it.
Really zero in on what it was.
In that process, something that I do that I think you've picked up on as well, and plays into the part of being in a long-term relationship, is that not every problem needs to be talked about. And sometimes, if you're upset about something, you could just deal with it and put it away. You have to gauge about how much it upsets you, right?
Yeah.
If I've processed all that information and I go, all right, even though I'm not pissed off anymore, it's still it's need to be talked about.
Yeah,
right?
Something that's definitely come from just simply being with you for so long is like, I really can, and this is why I appreciate you and love you so much, is because like we've been in a relationship for so long, and when we're angry at each other, if I'm angry at you, I can really step back and be like, okay, of all the things that I've experienced with Cameron over the course of our relationship, can I confidently say that this is a Cam problem or is this a me problem? Am I mad at this because of something that has to do with me? Or is he doing something that is upsetting me that I need to take to him and we need to have a discussion about? You know, or is this like a pet peeve that I need to get over? And, you know, I wouldn't recommend this to everybody, this method, because, you know, you're sometimes the person that you're angry with, you don't spend a lot of time with them. This doesn't work for like coworkers, you know, because you can't successfully determine whether or not something, you'll gaslight yourself is what I'm getting at here.
Yeah,
you know, like I know that people are really good at being like, oh no, this is a problem with me. This is a problem with me. This is a problem with me. And then before you know it, you're walking around on eggshells because you think that there's so many things wrong with you when really it's like a conversation that you need to have with the person. But I just feel so comfortable with you after so long that like, I feel like I can adequately decipher whether or not something is a me problem or an us problem. If it needs to be. And then we just talk about it and be like, hey, it like made me feel angry when you said this or did this or when you do this or act this way.
Well, the biggest, I think, I can't believe I got this from a fucking like tweet, but like some of the best relationship advice I've ever heard, and I've said it on many podcasts before, and I'll say it again, is that when you're in an argument, it's never you versus your partner.
Yeah.
It's you and your partner versus the problem. And I've applied that to all of my relationships.
Well, so you don't like zero in, you know, if the problem is like, your partner always like puts you down whenever they hang out with their friends, you know, hopefully it's not like, you know, you versus your partner putting you down. It's you versus the behavior of the putting you down that they need to fix.
And if your partner loves you and wants the things to be better, they're going to take what you said and really, really throw it up against themselves and go like, oh, fuck, I really did do that. And I can see where she's coming from.
Yeah.
And then you have to acknowledge what you're responsible for.
Yeah.
Right? That's my thing. Where it's like, I firmly believe that in conflict, there is no such thing. Well, in rare circumstances, there is 100% blame on one person. Right? Even if it's 3% on one person and 97 on the other. I think what helps to quell and be responsible, mature adults is to cop what you can cop for. You know? As to be like, I've had arguments with people where someone is pissed off and they mouth off at me, and then that disrespectful, and I can't exactly just leave like I would like to, and like they're being insistent, so I'll say something back to them, and that pisses them off, and we go away and we come back, and they have cooled off, and they go, hey, listen, I'm really sorry, and then I go, you know what, I got pissed off too. I'm sorry for what I said. You know, like I'm sorry for what I said. But they need to be sorry for causing the conflict,
for making it petty in the first place.
Exactly.
Taking it to a petty place.
Exactly.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah. You know what else I've learned from you?
What's that?
And like, this is so nice, but I was talking about this in therapy a little while back, and you really helped my anxiety.
Oh, that's nice.
Because, you know, we all have anxiety. I don't have to explain it to you, but anxiety is like the presence of unhelpful thoughts that make you feel panicked or nervous in situations where you really don't need to be. And, excuse me, a lot of the times when I'm like telling you a story from my childhood or like talking about something that nagged at me during the day, like a pet peeve or something, you laugh at it. And that sounds really cruel, but in the language of our relationship that we have developed, I don't deem it as cruel. It just sort of like neutralizes the anxiety to a place where I'm like, huh, that is silly.
It's kind of funny, isn't it?
And I laugh at it.
Yeah.
And I was telling my therapist this. I was like, she was asking me like, what sort of things help when I have anxiety? And I was saying like, I talk to you, and we figured out that like, when you laugh at my anxiety, it really helps because I can tell, like it's taking it to an outside trusted source that can tell that what I'm thinking or worried about isn't really anything to be worried about. So, we developed an exercise where I try and talk out the anxious thought as if I'm talking to you, and I try and find a way to laugh at it. Like, that's something that you did that helps me in my everyday life.
You've never told me that. I never knew that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm touched and happy that my fucked up, twisted sense of humor can help you.
It's really not. No, it's really not that fucked up. It's just, like I'll be telling a story about, like some like fear that I had in my child. Like I'll be like, I used to practice walking around with and opening doors with my toes.
Just in case you lost your arms.
Just in case I lost my arms.
Yeah, that's hysterical.
Yeah, this image of like little Sam like trying to open a door with her foot because I'm afraid that I'm going to lose an arm someday.
Like one day, you never know.
Yeah, and you're like laughing at it because it's like, Sam.
I'm laughing at it right now.
Realistically speaking, what are the chances? What do you do in a day that's going to cause you to lose an arm?
You're a writer. You're not a deep sea diver. Yeah. You're not a fucking welder.
Stop setting aside 2 hours every day to practice opening doors with your toes. It's a waste of time. See, you're doing it. This is literally like the conversations that I have that I like tell my therapist about. I'd never literally set aside 2 hours a day to practice opening doors. It would be like
that's just fucking really funny.
I know. I'd be like, realistically, what it was is I'd be ready for like getting ready for school in the morning, and then I would like open my door after getting dressed, and I'd be like, no, practice doing it with your foot. And then I would close my door and like open it with my foot and like
just a little ball of anxiety you were, weren't you?
Yeah.
But that's what I think. Like, and I'm glad that you don't take offense to me laughing at your fucking anxiety.
Certain things you really can't laugh at, and I feel like you know that.
I don't.
And if you didn't, I would tell you, and I trust that you would respect it.
I think
you love
you
me, and I know that. But like, it has helped before because it's like that is so silly. That it's silly.
That is silly as fuck. It's silly,
and it's okay that it's silly. But after the laughing fit, you kind of like calm down, and you're like, yeah, okay, I don't have to spend so much energy thinking about that.
Yeah.
I don't have to spend so much energy worrying about losing an arm.
I love the idea that you've been that anxious about losing arms up until like 22 when you met me.
It was just an example, but yeah,
I know,
it's a funny
of course.
thought.
But
yeah.
I that makes me happy. Yeah. You never told me that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Also, really nice.
Also, it's not the only cure for anxiety. I don't suggest you go out and like have people make fun of you.
No, of course not.
I also talk to a therapist. I'm also on medication. It's a bunch of things, but that is one thing, and specific to what we're talking about today with relationships that I've learned from you over the course of time is how to laugh, how to laugh at anxiety. It's what works for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like. That's really touching.
Yeah.
And I mean, laughter is good medicine.
Yeah.
Right?
It's our medicine specifically. Because look at what we do for a living.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because we know if you can't make fun of the things you like and the people you like, and I don't mean like bully. I don't mean like, we have a code, you and I, which is never to make fun of things you can't change.
Yeah.
And to never make fun of things that would offend people.
If you can't change it in 10 seconds, it's not worth pointing out.
Versus, or I mean, we also... This is the twisted part that I was talking about earlier. Go to extreme places, right? Where it's like, it's so far removed from reality that you can laugh at it. Which is why I think that opening your doors with your feet is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because it's an insanely funny mental image.
Yeah.
And the idea that you like dedicated time, like I could just imagine you in your room, like with your foot up, like.
Yeah. I like finished watching an episode of Lizzie McGuire, and I'm like, well, time to practice what it would be like without my right arm. And like.
Yeah. Did your mom ever like come in and it was like, what are you doing?
No one ever saw
You're likely not going to lose your arm, knock on wood, I guess, but
Yeah. No. It wasn't that dedicated. It was just like, I should practice doing this with one arm.
Yeah.
Or no arms.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's another thing that I learned from you, I think, is to really like, because I mean, I've always been someone with interests, right? Like video games and comic books and all the things that I like. But I think that you've really encouraged me to go from liking the things I like to loving the things I like.
That is so interesting because I feel like I've learned that from you.
Oh my God. Well, I think I learned that from you.
Oh, I think I learned that from you.
Oh my God. And everyone's turned off the podcast.
No, but like when we first started dating, like I tell this joke all the time, but you were like, so what are your hobbies? Like, what are you into?
And it was like dial-up noises.
I was like acting. And you were like, yeah, but like that's what you want to do for a living. Like,
career.
what are you interested in? I was like, movies, I guess. And you were like, but you want to be in movies as like a career. What are you interested in? Like, what do you do in your spare time? And I was like, watch TV. And you were like, but what? And I was like, oh, I don't have any fucking hobbies.
I mean, and you didn't have hobbies until like
March when I bought skates.
like last year, yeah.
Well, I had to figure out, things I like. I actually did like Google hobbies one time. I was like, popular hobbies that you can take up, and it was like model trains.
Oh, okay.
Stamps.
That's like
antiques.
That's not like okay. Yeah, that's like going to a hobby shop.
Yeah.
And buying stuff from the hobby shop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's like that. That's not quite what I meant when I was like, you should explore some things you like to do.
Yeah.
Like,
but I was like, what is that? What do I like to do? I don't know. It went from like RuneScape to acting. Like I don't know.
You were like,
I don't know. RuneScape was my hobby.
It was, yeah.
Like when I wasn't doing homework or when I didn't have soccer or something else.
You can still play old school RuneScape,
I can, and like don't tempt me with a good time.
You can download it on your phone, as a matter of fact.
I know I had it on my phone, but I had to delete it for space.
Right, because iPhones, yeah.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's fine. I have roller skating. It's fine.
Yeah, you figured it out.
I'll pick it up every once in a while. That's the other thing too, is that like I either play RuneScape for 6 months and don't eat and don't sleep, or I don't touch it. It's like The Sims.
It's probably good that you didn't get into WoW then.
I still want to get into WoW. I did have fun. It's just space.
It's time consuming, and your computer has very little memory.
Yeah,
which is shocking.
Yeah.
But off topic. Yeah, man, because it's like what you've encouraged me to do, because like I've always had hobbies, right? I've always had stuff that I did outside of my work and life, right? But you've really encouraged me to be passionate about them, and like not because I think my whole life I've really been like where it's like because when I went to high school I was in drama and football, and that was mostly my life, and then I had my close friends where I talked about like video games and movies and stuff, but like no one had ever really talked to anime about. No one ever really talked to like cartoons about the shit that I was really genuinely interested in. But then I met you and you were like, well, that's cool though. Like that's what makes you an interesting person.
Yeah.
So talk about it.
Get obsessed with it. I think I told you to do.
Yes, exactly right. And I've been on that train forever, and it's your fault that whenever we talk about this stuff, we talk about it for hours.
Like I noticed that you read manga every morning.
I read manga all the time.
I know you do. But like you read manga in the morning like some people do the newspaper.
Totally. Yeah. Well, I found a great app for it finally again. It's illegal, and I'm sorry. I want to pay for manga, but I don't have any money.
I don't have any. I'm just a little baby.
I'm just a little babe. I'm a little otaku with no money, and I want to read manga.
I'm a little otaku with no money. Yeah, no, for sure. Like I think that's really cool that you do that, like get into it. Just fucking like find something that you've always wanted to know more about and just Google the shit out of it and get really, really into it.
Yeah. And I'm glad that I've encouraged you to find roller skating.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like,
I literally would have never done if I never dated you.
You think so?
I guarantee it. 100% never would have put the thought and energy into it without your encouragement.
Which is so crazy to me because I genuinely want to know, and I'm not trying to like back you into a corner or nothing, but it's like, what did you do?
I don't know, like
just nothing for like 25 years.
No, I just watched a lot of TV, a lot of movies. Yeah. But then Tumblr.
See, the thing is, and like the reason why I encourage you to find more hobbies is because of what you just said, where it's like that's career research. I know you're also enjoying yourself. Obviously, you wouldn't do it if you didn't enjoy yourself. But I think that like contributed to years ago now, but your feeling of like being really burnt out, your feeling of like exhaustion when you finally got around to do acting. Yeah. Right. There was a conversation we had between you and I.
A lot of pressure.
Where you were like, I'm finally acting, but I'm not like enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because you fucking inundate yourself with this dream and image constantly.
Yeah.
You need breaks from it, right?
Yeah.
I even go through phases where I don't play video games for weeks and just do other shit, right?
For sure.
But I'm glad that you found roller skating. It's a shame you fucking shattered your elbow.
I didn't shatter it. It's a lot better. I can extend it
That bruise is gnarly, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. Yeah. Check this out.
Hopefully that reads out in the camera.
Yeah. We'll see.
Oh, pull zoom on that.
Yeah. It's gross. It's a lot. Lighter than it was like even last week.
Well, I mean, last week
you didn't see it last week, but it was dark.
Well, last week you put your fucking arm up, and I was like, oh God,
yeah,
what is that?
You kind of did say that. It's like not really an exaggeration.
Well, it's funny because I don't know why I didn't think this, but like I forgot that typically when you injure your bones, like the layers of things to your bones also get injured.
You don't just hit the bone, you hit the skin and the blood and the everything.
Naturally, so your whole elbow is fucked up, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know why I was literally like, what happened? And I was like, oh wait, I remember what happened.
Yeah.
I remember going to the hospital at 4 a.m. How could I
There.
forget?
But
yeah.
You also are into like hobbies like video games and
of course,
stuff like
I have tons of hobbies.
The games and the D&D and the Magic the Gathering and the anime and the manga.
If I had to break down my hobbies, I have 2 major hobbies, and that's visual art in terms of manga, comic books, animation, anime, blah, blah, blah. I kind of umbrella that. And then games. I love games. Board games, card games, video games. I love figuring out
card games too. Yeah.
Like sitting down and reading the rules and playing with the game and figuring out an optimal strategy is my shit.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
Totally.
And it's really nice because close friends of ours, whom unfortunately we haven't seen in well over a year. Well, you saw the other week. They're a couple who love board games as well.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of board game nights with them, which was awesome and like needs to happen again.
Yeah.
And it's really great because they're like me in that they're game-minded people. Yeah. They like playing games. You don't love doing that. If I could tell, but I think that you kind of get swept up in our energy.
I'm not gonna lie, like it's a weird hump that I have to get over where it's like I hate the learning of it. I hate instructions,
but you want to do
sitting
it
around. But like once you get the game and everyone's on the same page and we can all play, that's why I'm like, just like, what's wrong with Monopoly? What's wrong? Monopoly is a bad example because who knows the rules to Monopoly?
Monopoly is actually very complicated.
Yeah,
there's a lot of rules.
What's wrong with Sorry? What's wrong with Trouble? What's wrong with Go Fish?
I roll the dice and then I move my thing.
And then you move it and then somebody wins. What's wrong with Chutes and Ladders?
Simplicity is a beautiful thing.
Candyland? Why did we get more complicated than Candyland?
Because it's cool to immerse yourself.
But like once everybody's on the same page, as you would be if you were to play a Candyland, it's fun. I just hate the learning process. Okay, I can be made to.
No one loves learning a board game.
Yeah.
I don't even love it. I just like it. Yeah. I love playing it.
Yeah.
But I like.
That's why the first time I ever touched Dead of Winter, I was like, okay. Fuck you.
It's not okay. That game.
Fuck this.
That game has a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
But it's not nearly as complicated as you think. Trust me.
Lies. I just don't believe you.
It just takes.
We gotta move on.
It's a strategy game.
I simply don't believe you.
Anyway, the point being is that I love that, right? So when I sat down with our friends and we were playing this game I've never played before, it was about like finding a murderer in London. Remember that game?
Oh yeah, Scotland Yard.
And it was one of the coolest board games I've ever played. And
that was really fun.
It was so cool because when it clicked for me, I went, oh shit, we got to do this and this because he's trying to do this and this.
Yeah.
And our friend who was on our team was like, exactly. And like that moment, I live for.
Yeah.
I live for the moment where we're like, oh, now we're on fire.
Yeah.
And like we're playing this game.
That's your drug.
You know? It really is. It really genuinely is. You know, it's why I play Smash Brothers all the time, even by myself. Where I'm like, God, I'm actually half decent at this.
Yeah.
And I know how to play it.
Oh, because when you figure out a character.
I've been learning a lot of new characters, yeah. So obviously I know the characters I know how to play. But then it's fun to learn how to play new ones.
Cool.
You know, and there's like 80 of them now. Yeah. So you just fucking pick one and play it. But yeah, I don't remember what exactly spurred this conversation.
Hobbies, like things that we picked up, any like interests that...
Do you think that you'll ever explore another hobby? I know you just figured out roller skating.
You know what? Through dreaming up ideas of things to put in our Twitch store, which you can find over at twitch.tv/chillspot.
Bro, do I need to call the hospital?
Actually, yeah, I have been discovering new hobbies.
Cut in here, Sam. Tell us about your new hobbies.
While I've been trying to sort of like bulk up the Twitch store for our Twitch streams,
twitch.tv/chillspot.
I've been looking into like crafts, like what sort of like crafty things can I make for our friends over at twitch.tv/chillspot.
Chillspot.
And today I was looking into like bookbinding, and that's fucking hard. But
a challenge to rise to.
You know, it's not. I was like, if I can teach myself how to do this, like. That would be really cool.
You never have to buy a notebook again.
I can make them left-handed.
Left-handed notebooks.
I can make left-handed notebooks.
Dude, it's gonna be
less. Yeah, yeah, 100%. I would love that so much. And just like, you know, like I love making bookmarks. Our friend Kat redeemed a bookmark recently, and I love the process. It's so meticulous, and like my little hamster brain loves like having something to be very specific about.
Well, you like
and
step
follow
1, step 2,
a straight
step
line
3.
Really, really careful.
No curveballs, you know.
Very straightforward, you know, simple shapes. And just, you know, you cut the rectangle out and you glue it down and you hold it up and it's all done.
I can't wait for you to get like immaculate at the bookmarks.
Because
like,
I want tools.
I'm gonna buy you a laminator for Christmas.
Tools. I would, Cameron. I would love that. No, because seriously, like right now, I laminate my bookmarks with packing tape, and it's a bitch. I mean, it's fun because I get to be very specific about something, but it would just be so much better.
Oh, if you had a laminator, because I mean, don't take this the wrong way, but it's like when you laminate with packing tape. It's not like laminated. Yeah. Right? Like it's kind of like a home. It's a home remedy.
It lasts. My bookmarks fucking work.
And it works.
Yeah.
Nothing, not whatever suggests that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But with a laminator, you would get like the nice, like, ooh, indigo. Like, oh,
yeah.
I spent $2 on this bookmark and you can fucking taste it. You know? Like it just, you know when you get like, I have a bunch of bookmarks. It says, would you like to save your progress? Yes, no.
Yeah.
From like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I had bought paper ones before, but they fucking fell apart.
Yeah.
But then.
Because they're not laminated.
But then the next time around, I paid the extra $4 to get the laminated ones, and they are gorgissimo.
Yeah.
The best.
And like, I don't know why, but like shitty little fucking crafts, I love having them around. You know?
And that's good.
It's like, where did you get this cool thing? Oh, I made it.
Yeah.
I made it.
Yeah, and you did that. It's not betterment to your career. It's not research for your fucking goals. It's just something you enjoy doing.
Can you imagine if a skill I have is bookbinding?
That'd be cool.
Oh, fuck yeah, buddy.
And that's another thing about hobbies. The last thing about hobbies before we actually get back to the topic is like hobbies help you explore your interests.
Yeah.
I never would have known in a million years that I fucking love fantasy writing if I never got into Dungeons and Dragons.
There you go.
You know? Which is under the games umbrella.
But to bring it into relationships, and I feel like I'm just reiterating a dead topic here, I would not have gotten into that if not for you.
Likewise.
You showed me the value of hobbies, of doing something for fun, for pure enjoyment, simply because you want to learn, and it has been so enriching, and I feel so much more whole, and you showed me that. You showed me that. Never would have done it if not for you.
I'm glad I could, because I mean, when I even brought, I mean, and last thing before we actually genuinely move on, there's more stuff to talk about. But it's like, this would be a long podcast. You know, when I started bringing up the idea of hobbies to you, I felt the apprehension.
Yeah.
I sort of felt like I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like I felt as though you considered it like a waste of time.
I definitely didn't think it was a waste of time. I was just like, you were like, you should find one. And I was like, cool. There's a sea of hobbies. Like, how am I going to possibly narrow this down? How am I going to narrow this down?
Just pick one. You know, and you did.
Yeah.
Well, because you found...
You got to go on your own journey to it, though.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Like, for me, it was the media I consumed, you know? Like, a lot of the shows I watched had, like, D&D episodes. Where I was like, oh, man, that sounds like fun. And then my roommates got me into D&D, and then, you know, the rest is history.
Yeah.
But I think for you, getting into drag and then seeing Trixie with the roller skates... I think that maybe sparked something inside of you.
No, it was the Instagram algorithm.
Oh, really?
Just like randomly on my search page on Instagram, like I started seeing roller skating dance videos.
You were
like it started with one, cool. And then I clicked on one, and then of course the algorithm kind of like figures it out and starts showing you more, and they started showing up more and more in my life.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is cool. I could just do this.
Yeah.
Like, how much can it be? It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, let's fucking get into it. Like this looks really cool. And what's stopping me? Like, they're a person. I'm a person.
Yeah.
They're not some like they didn't touch a special rock like goddamn Green Lantern and now they skate. They were once wobbly like I was. So I can be just as dope as they are if I put my thoughts into it.
And I feel like I've been telling you that forever.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a part of getting into a hobby. You're not gonna be fucking good at it right away.
Well, what do you learn about me? From dating me for so long, it's that you cannot tell me what to do. I have to figure out exactly what you told me by myself.
Yeah, you're a very like let you touch the stove kind of person.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I mean, I'm a firm believer that some people need to sink before they can swim.
Yeah.
And some people, not everyone. I don't feel quite like you're like that. But you're right. I can't help you make a discovery. You got to make discovery on your own. Even if you come to me and you're like, babe, I figured out, and here's this thing. And I'm like, cool. And in my back of my head, I was like, I feel like I've been saying that for months, but just, it's fine. It's
Let her have it.
It's a victory. This is what you wanted, Cameron. This is what you want, and you're getting it. So, roll with it.
Who cares how you got it?
Yeah, right?
Just go with it.
Exactly. You got to the end point. It's just not your doing that did so. The point is that she's here and she's happy, and this is what you wanted.
What's the next topic?
Well, I'll be honest with you. We kind of mash-mished a bunch of shit. We were going to talk about positive changes we made based on the personality/behavior of your partner, but I feel like we touched upon that. The next one is what's it like to learn about your partner's hobbies and interests, which we literally just talked about.
Ad nauseum, yeah.
What are some things that you fostered together? A genuine interest in reality television. Yeah, man.
Competition reality television.
Yes, not the trashy shit.
Yeah.
We like the bougie shit,
We
like
the
Hell's
high
Kitchen
class reality television.
and Drag Race. But it's true.
Both of them have won Emmys. Fuck you.
To sort of broaden that, I've gotten into watching movies and TV at home far more after dating you. I pretty much, I never realized this about myself until about a few years ago. I pretty much exclusively watch movies in theaters, and I never liked watching movies at home.
And I was like, Cameron, why?
Mm-hmm.
Cameron, why not?
Because I like the movie theaters. I
like the movie theater too, but you can watch a movie that you've already seen before at home. You can do that.
It's dumb. No, I've gotten into watching things over again. I watched it a couple weeks ago. I was bored on a Sunday, and it was like 6 p.m. And I was like, well, I got a couple hours to kill. Let's watch a movie. And then I was going through all of the services, and I was like, well, I kind of want to play this game more, but it's not really a game I could put up on the TV. And I'm a big proponent of doing two things at once because my brain goes too fast sometimes, and I need to overload it and slow it down.
Yeah.
So I put on The Winter Soldier.
There you go.
And watched it again.
There you go.
And I was like, this was fun.
I did have a good time.
Yeah, it was good.
I did have a good time.
And TV is never, like, as much as I love TV, and I really do, I want to stress that I really do.
Yeah.
It's never my first instinct.
Yeah.
Ever. To be like, ooh, I got a couple hours to kill. Should I watch TV?
Show.
No, that thought has never occurred to me.
Yeah.
It's always like, ooh, I should play that game. Oh, wait.
Well, I'm the same with video games.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could play a video game, but I want to watch TV more.
It's what you like. It's what you like.
Yeah.
And
also, I have a million shows right now that people are like yelling at me to finish.
Yeah.
So.
And it's a time commitment. And I got other things I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't, like, I know it's kind of passe to be like, oh, I don't have the time. And it's like, well, you don't, though.
No.
And I don't. That's why I've completely stopped getting on people's cases about watching stuff.
Yeah.
Like, when I was younger, I think I'd be like, did you watch this? Well, come on, man, watch it.
Why didn't you watch it?
And the reason why I don't give people shit about it anymore is because I have a hard time watching the things recommended to me.
Yeah.
So can't exactly, that's like my own shit. And I can't expect other people to be better than me when I'm not being better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
another thing you learned from me. Don't ask things of people that you can't accomplish yourself.
There you go. There you go. That's actually just a good general life principle.
Yeah. To
sort of never really expect from others what you can't be expected from.
Yeah.
That sentence make any sense?
No. But
you get
literally
the
what I just said. Don't ask things of people that you yourself can't accomplish.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, so I've been watching a lot more TV movies ever since I met you. Going back and watching new movies and stuff because like my movie knowledge is from like 2010 to like 2019, pre-pandemic. Basically, anything that's been released in theaters, I've seen some of it.
Yeah.
Not even all of it. I've seen some of it, and I very rarely go back.
Of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I very rarely go back. Like, I've seen all the old Star Wars, but it's like the fucking Star Wars. It's inescapable.
Yeah.
I wish I haven't seen them.
Something that I really appreciate picking up from you, though, like going back to video games, is like how video games are made specifically, and like the whole like I didn't know about like dev burnout and like the life of a game developer moving from like city to city to city chasing jobs and how often they have to like uproot their families and all of that stuff. I didn't know about that before I started dating you, and I didn't know about like hitboxes and like
how games are made.
Excuse me, like game terminology and stuff like that. Like literally, how games are made, how the industry treats the people who makes them, and what it takes to make all the different moving parts. I did not I did not know that before I met you.
Love game design.
And I actually have internalized so much of it. And it's at the point now where I can like talk about it without you being there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like there's this, okay, I hate to quote the Big Bang Theory, but like there's a part in the Big Bang Theory where Penny realizes that she's actually internalized a lot of the like Star Trek knowledge that the boys talk about. And she's like using it as an example, and she's like, it's like a shield, and someone's like, what? And she's like, like in Star Trek when they have to put the shields up, and then she like looks, and she's like, and she realizes what she's just said, and the audience of course goes like, wow, like they lose her. She's like, she knows the nerd thing.
Yeah,
she knows the nerd thing.
Bunch of screaming chimpanzees in the audience. Yeah.
But it's kind of like that moment when I talk about video games without you around. I'm like, oh yeah, like Naughty Dog, like the makers of Uncharted, and they always do games like this. Or Rockstar treats their employees like shit.
In general,
I'm like, oh wow, I know things without Cameron being here. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Like I love that. I love knowledge that you unknowingly learn. I love learning against my will.
I mean, like I in a similar vein. This isn't so much in terms of interest. It is an interest, but it's more about like a general life philosophy. Is that you've taught me more about social justice than any other person I've ever met in my entire life.
That's just
that's a byproduct of being close to you.
No, this is like that black person of color dates white person. It happens.
And listen, I'm not gonna act like I was some ignorant piece of shit before I met you. Like I was always someone who believed in rights for others. But what you've taught me is to take hold of the idea that if you care, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like before I was like, yeah, you need my support, I'm here, bro. But now it's like I'm taking a genuine interest, and like I need to. I've acknowledged the notion of playing my part, right? In the terms of like when I hear something that is sort of regressive, I go like, "Hey, don't say that," or like, "I don't think that's very cool," or "I don't agree with that," and like taking hold of the responsibility of making the world a better place.
Absolutely,
something I've learned from you.
Action. We need action.
Cut. Action. Sam's life is a movie.
It is. It really is.
But that's interesting that we've like fostered that to learn that from each other. What's another interest that you think that you and I do together that isn't like reality competition TV shows that we enjoy doing? This podcast, for instance.
Yeah, no, like Chill Spot is the obvious answer. Chill Spot and like Twitch streaming, like learning about streaming.
I fucking love Twitch streaming, man.
Oh, it's the joy of my life.
I honestly didn't. We could talk a little bit about. I mean, it's on topic. I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy Twitch streaming.
Yeah.
To the point where I was like, I literally had the thought, like, and I've only had this a few times in my life, where I had the thought where I was like, God, if I could do this forever and like raise fucking kids and live life, like, God, wouldn't that be nice?
Just like cut the cameras, dead ass. I'm done. You got me.
Yeah. Like legit. Like if it's one of those things
if
where
I was like, yeah, if we were like Ninja or Pokimane and like we could justify like just doing this as a career,
God, it'd be great.
Just this.
It would be great.
It would be fantastic.
You work like 5 days a week in the evenings.
Yeah.
Sometimes not even really.
For like 3 to 4 hours.
To meet cool people.
Yeah.
And laugh.
Yeah.
Because we spend the whole stream laughing pretty much.
Yeah.
Which that's obviously probably why I like it so much. So that's a good thing, talk about streaming. I mean, because I will admit that's something I want to do with Chill Spot, and we could talk about this as well, is streaming right now I think is very like me oriented. I do a solo stream. We always play video games where it's like, that's kind of my thing. Like I want to find ways to balance it towards you, which is why we're playing Nancy this weekend, which is going to be irrelevant for those who listen to this in the future. But we're playing more Nancy Drew games, like I want to find more creative ways to use the platform because Twitch is a very versatile platform.
Yeah.
And it isn't just playing video games. Nope. It's predominant.
Yeah.
But it's not like it's exclusively that,
No. It's a lot of other things too. I mean, like there's time to explore that.
Yeah.
Together.
Exactly.
I was just scratching my armpit with that finger.
I know. I can smell it. It's gross, Sam.
He loves me. It's okay.
But yeah, last thing on the docket, Sam, is what are some dating tips from the spotters? From the spots.
From the spots. For the spots.
From the assholes.
For like successful long-term relationships, or if you're like tired of dating and you want to end your hoe phase and start something real, I would say take all of your experience from all of your relationships, figure out what you absolutely will not tolerate, and do not settle until you find it, because it is possible to find somebody who, and like it'll take time, like Cam definitely pushed my buttons a lot in the beginning of our relationship, and I his. But I never in my actually no, I was scared a little bit that he would leave me and didn't want to work through shit with me, but that was my own shit. But never did he tell me that he wasn't willing to work on everything with me. And like talk things through. And you can find that too in a person. You know, you can find someone who meets all of your expectations, and you should want to find somebody who meets all of your expectations. Some people call it being picky. I call it having standards. And when it comes to the person that you spend the rest of your life with, the person, like, let me put this in the most Capricorn of senses, like the person that you're going to share finances with, you should absolutely have high standards for.
Sure.
You should have that.
You should be financially like-minded when you're going to marry someone.
You should hold them to your standards if you're going to intertwine your entire life with them, both personal and financial, with that person. You should have high standards for that.
I wholeheartedly agree.
So get high standards and don't settle until you find somebody who meets them.
Yeah.
I've had high standards my whole life, and worked out.
Here we are.
Worked out eventually.
Here we are. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I to sort of go out, first and foremost fully agree with what you just said. I think having a standard that is met and needs to be met is important. And I think you should, because I have that as well. I have plenty of standards that you meet. And my thing to sort of offshoot, so not offshoot, but to sort of springboard off of what Sam just said, is that understand that a relationship is full of highs and lows. Yeah. And I know you're all groaning at home right now, but it's true. It is the most true thing that I have ever heard. And it's one of those things when you hear it when you're younger or single and you go like, oh, whatever, man. But then like you're in a relationship and it's like, you know, when you understand that relationships are going to have highs and lows, all of a sudden the fucking heart-wrenching anxiety of, will this fight be the last one, goes away. Because you understand that, like, yeah, your girlfriend's mad at you right now, but she won't be forever.
Yeah.
Unless you're really fucked up. Unless you like really did some crazy shit.
Yeah.
So accepting the fact that there's going to be fights, accepting the fact that there's going to be disagreements, accepting the fact that it's not going to be peachy keen fucking honeymoons all the goddamn time will make you a healthier person and will make you healthier in your relationship, because when you balance the lows, you enjoy the highs. Yeah. And there are more highs. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying it's a 50-50 split. It's more like an 80-20 for me, right? Yeah, and that's also just because of our personalities. And you'll be happier. You'll be happier once you realize that life is a balance, and just like life, relationships are a balance too. Yeah. And understand, and like this is nothing in specifics. I'm not going to get into specifics, but there's going to be things about your partner, small things about your partner that you may dislike, that you might quirks that might rub you the wrong way.
Name some.
No. And you just need to let it go. Yeah. Unless it's a problem, and then you bring it up and talk to them about it. Yeah. But you need to set that precedent, right? Yeah. Understand that you're not going to like your partner 100%. Yeah. And like that sounds defeatist.
No, yeah,
but it
like,
isn't.
It sounds like, oh well, you did settle then. It's like, no, I didn't settle. It's just like, you know, the things that I don't super love about Cam are tolerable. They're not big fucking red flags. Yeah. You know?
They're like, I found all this Nazi memorabilia in this room. And I'm like, she leaves the lights on when she leaves rooms sometimes. Like, those are different. You know?
Yeah, honestly. It's just like, know the difference between a red flag and just a pet peeve. You know? Like, don't, like, you're not dating a fucking Satanist if you choose too loudly. You know? It's fine. You can ask him to chew quieter. It's really okay. Yeah. Like, just calm down. That's my other advice for like people who are like single. It's like, just calm down. Just relax. Stop deciphering text messages. If you can't figure out exactly what the other person is saying over a text message, you're toast. Just throw it out. Just throw the whole man out.
Throw the whole man out.
Throw him away. Just throw him away. Because like, you don't have time to fucking, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be fucking Indiana Jones? Fucking like Rosetta
reading hieroglyphs and shit.
Yeah. Are you, like, your partner shouldn't have to be the fucking Rosetta Stone, okay? Like, just, you should know where everybody is at every single moment. Like, just enough with the text deciphering. I'm so tired of my single friends texting me being like, okay, so like, he said this on our FaceTime the other night, and I don't know what it means. It's like, if you don't know what it means, and he probably doesn't want you to know what he means, and that means you should throw the whole man away. Yeah. Like, just stop.
Can we also say, I want to end this podcast on two notes. That we speak from a point of privilege, and that like we found the perfect person for each other, right?
Yeah.
And it's tough to be single. I want to acknowledge that. Dating right now, holy shit, man. I am not envious of single people whatsoever. We had a whole podcast episode talking about how like just like 1.5% of the reason we're still together is because we don't want to be single anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's like 99% of all the reasons we just talked about at length today. But like 1%.
It's also because it's a fucking cesspool out there.
Yeah.
It's just a petri dish of horrible people.
And you have to you take a lot of bad dicks before you find a good one.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotta kiss a lot of toads.
Yeah, kiss a lot of toads, and one will turn into a prince, but you also kiss like 50 toads.
Yeah.
So I want to acknowledge that. I also just want to say, hey, take a deep breath. Mm-hmm. You're doing good.
Yeah.
And you're going to be fine.
And you're a good person.
And you're a good person.
And you're worth it.
And you're going to find love if you haven't found love already.
Yeah.
You have love in your life from the people who love you, like your friends or your family. But you're going to find that person.
Ooh, that's another really good tip. Revel in the love of people who aren't romantic partners.
Yes, totally.
Revel in friend love. Revel in family love if you got it. Revel in, the love for your one coworker who's always really solid and actually knows what the fuck they're doing. Mm-hmm. Love for yourself.
Yeah.
Really enjoy that alone time with yourself.
I agree.
Learn what that is, because that will help you build the aforementioned standards that I mentioned earlier.
There you go.
Knowing what kind of love you will and won't accept from friends, because at the end of the day, your partner really is your friend.
Totally.
Well,
I mean, I think that's one of the standards.
So, knowing what kind of love you appreciate with your friends is super important and conducive to figuring out a good and healthy relationship.
After I started telling my friends that I love them, after hanging outs and phone calls and shit, it's completely strengthened our relationship for sure. Mm-hmm. Because it's one of those things where I feel like it's always been understood, but it's good to vocalize. Mm-hmm. We're big on vocalizing over here at Chill Spot.
Absolutely.
And we love you.
I mean, that's why we made a fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Vocalizing everything.
Yeah, talking into a camera from our blue comfy soapboxes in this moody lit room.
Yeah.
But I love doing it every week, and I love you.
I love you too.
And I love you at home. And thank you so much for listening to the Chill Spot podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep holding your hand.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna keep holding your hand.
All right. Cool. Gross. But here we go.
Keep holding my hand.
I want to thank everyone at home for listening to this episode of the Chill Spot podcast. We upload every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on YouTube and a little bit earlier on streaming services. We mentioned earlier in this podcast that we stream 3 nights a week. 2 nights a week, 1 morning a week at twitch.tv/chillspot. Be sure to go into the description of this video. You can join up our Discord to stay in contact with us and all of the cool people that we met down there. And yeah, it's been a great podcast.
It has been a good podcast.
You can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, or wherever the fuck you listen to podcasts, goddammit. And podcasts live or die by sharing. So please, God, share, like, subscribe. It means the world. You have no idea how much it helps.
It would help me love you if you shared this podcast.
Wow, that's not manipulative.
Red flag.
Oh my God. Thank you for listening to the podcast, guys.
Please share it if you would like to. And if you do share it, please give it 5 stars if you can.
There you go. It's a big help. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
The Chill Spot. The Chill Spot. Chill in the spot with Sam and Cam. The Chill Spot.